Many of you who are users of Windows 10 are likely in panic since Windows 10 is about to be classified as end of life by Microsoft. End of life is today, October 14, 2025, a day that will live in tech infamy. Currently, still 40% of Windows users are still on Windows 10. Likely the main reason you have not updated to Windows 11 is because you cannot. Your old computer is considered junk now because it doesn't have this thing called a TPM chip. You're being pushed to get a Copilot PC, one that is equipped to handle the AI companion, even though likely you have not come up with a reason to want to use some spying AI in your daily computer life. So you don't want this.
October 14th, 2024. 11:59 p.m. Pacific Time. In data centers across Redmond, Washington, a switch flips. Automated. Programmed months ago. Irreversible. Windows 10 support officially ends. At midnight, 400 million computers worldwide become unsupported. No security updates, no bug fixes, no patches, just machines running software Microsoft has abandoned. But here's the nightmare. Those 400 million users didn't choose to stay on Windows 10. They're trapped there, locked out of Windows 11, not by choice, by Microsoft's rules. The TPM 2.0 requirement, the CPU generation restrictions, the UEFI firmware mandate, the secure boot requirement. Microsoft erected walls, technical barriers that transform perfectly functional computers into obsolete hardware overnight. A 2019 computer with an Intel i7-8700K and 32 gigabytes of RAM? Too old. A 2018 custom-built gaming PC with an RTX 3080? Not compatible. A 2017 workstation that cost $4,000? Garbage according to Microsoft. 52% of Windows 10 devices can't meet Windows 11 requirements. That's not a small segment. That's half the user base. 400 million people. Told their computers are obsolete, told to buy new hardware, spend thousands of dollars. Not because their machines are broken, because Microsoft decided a security chip most people never heard of is now mandatory. And as that clock struck midnight on October 14th, 2024, millions of people woke up to discover their computers had expiration dates they never knew existed. This is the story of the largest planned obsolescence event in computing history, and it's about to get much worse. The Invisible Walls, Tuesday morning, October 15th, 2024, Phoenix, Arizona. Sarah Martinez opens her computer repair shop at 9 a.m. By 9:47, there are 12 people waiting. By noon, 31, all asking the same question. Why can't I upgrade to Windows 11? An elderly woman enters. Dorothy, 74 years old. She's carrying a laptop. Dell Inspiron from 2019. She's shaking, nearly in tears. Sarah, my computer keeps saying I need Windows 11. But when I try to upgrade, it says I can't. It says my computer isn't compatible. But it works fine. I don't understand. Sarah takes the laptop, runs the compatibility checker. The screen fills with red X's. This PC doesn't meet the minimum system requirements for Windows 11. She clicks details. No TPM 2.0. CPU not supported. UEFI not configured. Sarah looks at Dorothy. This is going to be hard to explain. Dorothy, your computer is fine. It's only 5 years old. Should last another 3 or 4 years easily. But Microsoft requires a special security chip called TPM 2.0 for Windows 11. Your computer doesn't have it, so Microsoft won't let you upgrade. Dorothy doesn't understand. But the computer works. Why do I need a new security chip? Can you add one? Sarah shakes her head. It's built into the motherboard. Can't add it after the fact. Microsoft made it a requirement, even though most computers don't have it. So what do? The pop-ups say Windows 10 isn't safe anymore. Dorothy starts crying. I'm on a fixed income, Social Security. I can't afford a new computer. This one was a gift from my daughter. Why is Microsoft doing this? Sarah has no good answer, because there isn't one. Microsoft locked Dorothy out, not to protect her, to force hardware sales. And Dorothy is just one of millions having this exact conversation today. Across the country, Manchester, New Hampshire, Michael Rodriguez owns a small accounting firm, 8 employees. They have 12 computers. Dell Optiplex workstations from 2018. Cost $18,000 total. Professional machines, fast, reliable. They run accounting software perfectly, handle client files, process tax returns, 0 complaints. October 15th morning, Michael gets an email from their IT contractor. Subject line, urgent, Windows 10 EOL, action required. He opens it. The message is devastating. Windows 10 support ended yesterday. All 12 computers are now running unsupported software. They need to upgrade to Windows 11. But none of the computers meet the requirements. The IT contractor checked. No TPM 2.0 on any machine. The contractor presents options. Option 1. Keep running Windows 10. Risk security breaches. Risk regulatory compliance violations. Accounting firms must protect client data. Running unsupported software violates industry standards. Could lose their professional insurance. Could face liability if they're breached. Option 2. Buy 12 new computers. Minimum $1,000 each. That's $12,000. Plus data migration. Plus software reinstallation. Plus training time. Total cost? $15,000 to $18,000 to replace computers that aren't broken, that work perfectly, that were supposed to last another 3 to 4 years. Option 3, migrate to Linux, free software, but the accounting software they've used for 15 years doesn't run on Linux. They'd need to switch to different software, re-enter all client data, retrain staff, disrupt operations during tax season. That's October through April, their busiest time. They can't afford downtime. Michael sits at his desk, head in hands. He's run this firm for 22 years, through recessions, through COVID, through everything. And now Microsoft is forcing him to spend $15,000 he doesn't have because of a security chip requirement nobody asked for. His computers work, his business works, but Microsoft decided that's not good enough. And there's nothing he can do, but small businesses are just part of it. Healthcare is facing disaster. St. Catherine's Hospital, rural Nebraska, 180 beds, serves 34,000 people in the county. They have 420 workstations running Windows 10. These computers control everything: electronic health records, medication management, lab results, imaging, patient monitoring. The entire hospital runs on Windows. November 2024, IT Director Rebecca Walsh runs compatibility checks. Result: 387 out of 420 computers can't run Windows 11. That's 92% failure rate. The computers are from 2017 to 2019. Medical grade workstations cost $2,800 each originally. They work perfectly, completely reliable, never crash. Doctors and nurses trust them, but they don't have TPM 2.0. Microsoft says they're obsolete. The hospital CFO does the math. 387 computers need replacement at $3,200 each for medical grade equipment. That's $1.24 million. The hospital's annual IT budget is $890,000 total for everything. They don't have $1.24 million. Not even close. Rural hospitals operate on razor-thin margins. They can't afford unexpected 7-figure expenses. But they can't keep running Windows 10 either. HIPAA requires healthcare providers to use supported software with security updates. Running unsupported Windows 10 violates HIPAA, could result in fines, could result in loss of Medicare's Medicaid funding, could result in lawsuits if patient data is breached. They're trapped, forced to spend money they don't have, because Microsoft decided to abandon software that works. Rebecca presents to the board. The choice is stark. Either find $1.24 million for new computers, or violate HIPAA and hope they don't get audited or breached. The board is silent. They don't have the money. They can't violate HIPAA. There's no good option. One board member asks, why is Microsoft doing this? Don't they understand we can't just replace hundreds of computers overnight? Rebecca has been asking that question for weeks. She has no answer because Microsoft doesn't care. Rural hospitals aren't their target market. They're collateral damage in Microsoft's hardware refresh cycle. And if some hospitals in Nebraska can't afford to comply, that's not Microsoft's problem. The lockout mechanics. Rewind to 2020. Microsoft headquarters. Conference room. Executives planning Windows 11. The conversation focuses on security. Windows 10 has security features, but hackers are sophisticated. Microsoft needs to raise the bar. TPM 2.0 provides hardware-based security, better than software-only solutions. Makes sense from security perspective. But there's a problem. TPM 2.0 started becoming standard in 2016. Computers before that mostly don't have it. If Microsoft requires TPM 2.0, they'll lock out every PC built before 2016. That's hundreds of millions of devices. An executive raises the concern. If we require TPM 2.0, we're telling half our users they need new computers. That's going to be extremely unpopular. Another executive responds. It's necessary for security. We can't compromise on security. But someone else interjects. Is it really about security? Or is it about driving hardware refresh cycles? Our OEM partners need PC sales. The market has been flat for years. Nobody needs to upgrade because their computers last forever now. If we require new hardware for Windows 11, we force a refresh cycle. That's billions in hardware sales. The room goes quiet. Someone just said the quiet part out loud. The TPM 2.0 requirement serves two purposes. 1. Genuinely improve security. 2. Force hardware sales. Both are true simultaneously. But which one is the real priority? The decision is made. Require TPM 2.0. Lock out older hardware. Call it security. Don't mention the business benefits of forced obsolescence. But TPM 2.0 isn't the only barrier. Microsoft also restricts CPU generations. Intel 8th Gen and newer. AMD Ryzen 2000 series, and newer. Why? Microsoft says it's for performance and security. Older CPUs don't support certain instruction sets Windows 11 needs, except that's not entirely true. Tech researchers tested Windows 11 on older CPUs. Intel 7th Gen, AMD Ryzen 1000 series. It runs fine. Performance is good. No crashes, no problems. The CPUs are perfectly capable. Microsoft's restriction is artificial, deliberately cutting off hardware that works fine. An Intel i7 7700K from 2017, excellent CPU. 4 cores, 8 threads, runs modern games at high settings, handles video editing, compiles code fast, will be relevant for years. Microsoft says no, too old, not supported. Users with i7 7000K need to buy new computers. Not because the CPU is slow, because Microsoft drew an arbitrary line and the 7700K is on the wrong side of it. Linus Tech Tips tested this extensively, built systems with Intel 6th, 7th, and 8th Gen CPUs. Installed Windows 11 on all of them using workarounds. Benchmarked performance. Result? The 6th and 7th Gen systems performed identically to 8th Gen. No performance difference. No stability issues. The CPUs work fine with Windows 11. Microsoft just won't allow it officially. The conclusion is unavoidable. The CPU restrictions aren't about technical capability. They're about artificial scarcity, creating a reason to upgrade, even when no technical reason exists. It's planned obsolescence disguised as system requirements. Then there's UEFI versus legacy BIOS. Windows 11 requires UEFI firmware. Won't install on legacy BIOS systems. UEFI is better than BIOS. Faster boot times, better security, more features. But legacy BIOS still works. Computers with BIOS aren't broken. They just use older firmware standards. Millions of computers from 2015 to 2018 use legacy BIOS. They boot fine, run Windows 10 fine, but can't run Windows 11. Not because the hardware is weak, because the firmware is wrong. Users could theoretically switch from legacy BIOS to UEFI, but it requires reformatting drives, reinstalling everything, losing all data if not backed up properly. It's a huge barrier for non-technical users. The final shot. Microsoft headquarters. Building 92, the Visitor Center. Inside, there's a wall. The history of Windows. Windows 1.0, Windows 3.1, Windows 95, Windows XP, Windows 7, each version with a plaque, describing its impact, its legacy. At the end, empty space, reserved for Windows 11. But there's no plaque yet, just empty wall, waiting for history to judge. A single janitor cleans the floor. The building is empty, it's late. She stops, looks at the empty space, wonders what will be written there eventually. She doesn't know about TPM requirements, doesn't know about the lockout, doesn't know 400 million people were abandoned. She just cleans. But someday, that plaque will go up, and it will have to reckon with what Windows 11 really was. Not an operating system, an exclusion system, locking millions out, creating the exact opposite of what Windows was supposed to be. A barrier instead of an enabler. The janitor finishes cleaning, turns off the lights. The room goes dark. The empty space where Windows 11's legacy should be remains, waiting, in darkness, alone. October 14th, 2024. 400 million computers locked out by requirements that were never necessary for profits that were never worth it. The largest planned obsolescence event in history. The death of a computer on every desk. The betrayal of Microsoft's founding mission. Windows 11, not remembered for what it included, but for who it excluded. And 50 years from now, when people study how platforms die, they'll point to this moment, when Microsoft locked millions out and lost them forever. The beginning of the end. October 14th, 2024. The day Windows abandoned its users, and users began abandoning Windows.